All rise. This courtroom is now in session. Judge Finn presiding.
You can be seated.
When your passion is compassion, it often comes with a backstory. For Glendale presiding city judge Elizabeth Finn, also known as Ellie, that backstory began at home during the civil rights movement, a movement in which both of her parents were heavily involved.
I saw the kind of work that my dad did a lot of civil rights work. He represented people for free, and I saw that as a way to help people, and I wanted to be able to do the same thing.
There's a very narrow exception that the U.S. Supreme Court has recognized with regard to racial bias.
Arizona Supreme Court Chief Justice Scott Bales has great admiration for Judge Finn and for her family.
Her father, Herb Finn, in the 1950s was one of the lawyers that helped desegregate Arizona's schools before the decision by the U.S. Supreme Court in Brown versus Board of Education.
Her dad worked on the case with State Representative and future Judge Hayes Daniels. The two men volunteered their time and eventually won.
The kind of work that my dad was doing, the civil rights work with marches, and then also suing with Hayes Daniels, the first black lawyer in the state of Arizona, to desegregate first Phoenix Union and then the grade schools. This wasn't popular. It isn't like they got a lot of business from this, and we got bomb threats at the house.
That was about the time young Elizabeth Finn started to notice that things were not all equal.
So I'm 5 years old, so this is about 1953. And my mother had taken me downtown to have lunch with my dad and Hayes Daniels, and she was going to go shopping. And so we went to the San Carlos Hotel, and the manager came out and said to my dad, "You can't bring him in here," referring to Hayes. And at that point, my dad and Hayes, as part-time jobs, worked for the Attorney General representing the Land Department. My dad said something to the effect, "I am going to bring him in here. He's a special assistant attorney general of the state, and you are going to serve us." And after every course, they broke every glass and every dish at the table. And I finally said to my dad, "Why are they doing this?" And he said, "Because our friend's skin is a different color." And I said, "I don't understand." And my father said, "I don't understand either." And that was really the first time that I realized that all these meetings that were happening in all of the civil rights leaders' houses and the kids would be running around, that's what they were talking about.
And Elizabeth Finn wasn't just seeing bigotry happening to others, she was experiencing it as well.
I'm Jewish, so when those signs said, "We reserve the right to refuse service based on race, creed, or color," that meant the black, the Muslim, the Hispanic, and me as a Jew.
So years later, having been shaped by her early experiences and the work of her father, Elizabeth Finn decided to follow in his footsteps. But she wasn't the only one in the Finn family to do so.
Her mother actually went to law school later, was a graduate of the founding class at Arizona State in 1970, graduated summa cum laude. Judge Finn's sister and her son are also lawyers. So there might be an aspect of natural inherited ability there, but Judge Finn has also succeeded by working tremendously hard and having an unflagging devotion to trying to advance the cause of justice in Arizona.
Elizabeth Finn became a judge in Phoenix in 1979. She is the longest-serving judge in the state of Arizona. Judge Finn moved to Glendale City Court in 2002, where she has been successful in proactively addressing concerns that affect the community. Here at Glendale City Court, she launched 2 new specialty courts, one dealing with domestic violence issues, and the other, mental health.
In specialty courts, you're looking at a solution that's long-term, that's sustainable.
Court Administrator Chris Phelps works closely with Judge Finn on her innovative programs.
But with specialty courts, the goal is to have success. It's not to sentence, it's not to punish, it's actually to fix the issue, the individual issue that individual has. It's individual justice for individual people.
She is facing the max. So when I came to Glendale and I saw the large volume of domestic violence cases, and these are convicted offenders in our system, I realized that we were ripe for the opportunity to have judge-based monitoring and have a therapeutic court, having all the defendants who are convicted of domestic violence appear on a semi-regular basis back in front of a judge.
You're on track. Just continue to attend your classes.
It gives us another opportunity to interact with them to try to get them back into counseling.
After having success in the domestic violence court,
Is by completing mental health court. And
Judge
in the
Finn began working with mental health issues, opening a mental health court in 2013.
My initial passion was trying to do something to, if these people really didn't need to go through a competency hearing, if we could work with the case managers, get them stable on their medication, have them know who to call in time of crisis, then we would be doing something. Well, your case manager raved about you in staffing, so tell me why he would say those very positive things about you. I think it's been one of our most successful courts. And I think the support of the prosecutors in having that maintained as a diversion court, which means if they successfully complete it, they'll consider dismissing the charge, it shows that it is a very effective court. In fact, let's give them a round of applause for that.
And by changing the process, Judge Finn has saved the city nearly $100,000 since the court's inception.
In 2002, Phoenix honored me with the Dr. Martin Luther King Living the Dream Award.
So with all of her success changing lives for the better came recognition. In 2015, the Honorable Ellie Finn once again followed in her father's footsteps, all the way to the Maricopa County Bar Association's Hall of Fame.
I think what's unique is that my dad had already been inducted, and that was for civil rights work. And I often wonder if Hayes and Dab are looking down and saw the recognition that they got for the work that they did in the 50s, what they would think about that, and how it's so celebrated now, because it certainly wasn't popular when they were doing it. But to see my dad's name there, and then for me to be inducted, for us to be the only father-daughter duo in the Hall of Fame, I think that's pretty exciting.
Not only is it exciting, it's the Finn family legacy.
I think it's a belief in the ideal of justice and equality under law, and a firm commitment on the part of people as lawyers or judges or otherwise in the community to try to better approach that goal.
Yes, compassion. That is Judge Finn's passion.
I don't think about awards. I'm not in this to get awards. I'm doing this because I want to effectuate a change and kind of meet that passion of my parents, which is hopefully leave the world a better place than what they saw when they started as a family.